Good afternoon. Welcome to the July 20th Clark County Fire District 6 Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd like to call this afternoon's meeting to order and ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I might ask for any additions to this afternoon's agenda.
A couple of date movements.
Okay, Mr. Chair. We'll need to read and approve, post as necessary, the minutes of our July 7th regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Citizen communication. Citizens viewing this afternoon's meeting can communicate directly with the board using the chat feature that will be monitored throughout this afternoon's meeting. Committee reports this afternoon.
Let's see, we had a risk management group meeting. Commissioner Haynes, was there anything worth reporting out there? We got some information from WHA.
Yeah, I think he was just, it was a good standard reports, nothing too earth shattering.
Triple FB, we also had Triple FB meeting last week. Nothing of note either, just kind of normal operations. Yeah, otherwise relationships going well and nothing else to report. We also had an EMS District 2 meeting last week, and I don't think, again, anything really of note to report out of that meeting. We're handling the compliance there. Tara is doing a great job just kind of keeping up with the ambulance contract, holding AMR accountable to it, and then reporting any discrepancies to our advisory board. But other than that, nothing else to report on the EMS District 2. And then for the consent agenda, we have a little bit different as we are working on our payroll process update and we're moving payroll dates. Right now, we're kind of right in the middle of that process, so we don't have our July overtime numbers and July payroll yet for you. Probably be done by the end of this week. What would help staff is a pre-approval for the consent agenda with a formal approval next meeting, if that would work for the board.
So if I make a motion to approve the consent agenda and pre-approve the budget payroll process, would that be appropriate?
You can do that.
Okay, that's my motion.
I'll second it. All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, moving on to the chief's report.
Yeah, so again, for the overtime summary report, we will give you a budget division or a second quarter divisional report out on the budget here momentarily. But again, because of our July payroll date change, we don't have the total July payroll ready for you yet. But if we can, we'll start our presentation here and kind of go with our divisional report out. This is something, we started at the beginning of the year. We've done one of these already. And for this second quarter, we're just going to kind of talk about some of the processes that we're going through right now in modernizing kind of the administrative side as far as our processes go. I'll have Tara give a brief quarterly budget update. Chief Schmidt will give a brief administrative update, and Chief Barney will give a brief operations update. All right, so we gave you guys a hard copy of our standard of cover draft. So we've been working on this for the last number of months since we got that Citygate standard of cover that we presented to you guys. So the findings are unchanged, but Citygate really were just focused on pretty much contemporary benchmarks, not holding us to the objectives that the board has set. So different, like for instance, travel time is not a metric that the board holds us to account every year in our annual reporting, but overall response time is, turnout time is. We have a 6-minute and 9-minute response time objectives. Those kind of things, Citygate did not observe or report against. So they just kind of did a basic standard of cover per NFPA and more contemporary metrics. So what we've done is basically we've taken those things and compared them against our established objectives so that we have some apples to apples comparison. But we also use their contemporary standards to kind of weigh where we are as a fire district and the service level we're providing to the community. So we've built that. We'd love you guys to take a look at it. It is long. We recognize, so if you can't get to second reading by next board meeting, if we get into it in August, that's just fine too. But what this document will serve for us as, for one, we'll be able to put it on the website. It'll be a forward-facing kind of report on where the district is performance-wise. And then it'll also kind of springboard us into our strategic planning, because we're going to know what metrics we need to adjust and meet as we develop our strategic plan. So that's what's before you now. We have an electronic copy for you to view on Dropbox as well. And then once approved, we'll publish it as our actual standard to cover. Okay, give me a slide, Dave.
Quick,
Sorry.
right click.
Here we go. So the actions from the city gate are similar to what you're going to find in our standard to cover. Is basically, we need to work with CRESA and regional stakeholders to improve our call processing time. That's our biggest opportunity to get our response time in total down. The other one is turnout time performance. Chief Barney and Tara are already working to build some dashboards that are live for the crews to see, that breaks it down by company, by unit, and by station, so that they can, we're hoping just education and just understanding where their numbers are, that's going to provide a better response. But by improving those two times, we get into where we want to be in our overall turnout time.
This is coming back.
Yeah, this is not practice. So progress updates. So last Thursday, myself, Chief Drone, attended the Planning Commission meeting at the county building. Chiefs Brooks and Noor were online. Long meeting. We're there till about 10 o'clock at night to present our capital facilities plans for impact fees. This is a project Chief Maurer started several years ago. It's been on hold as the county planning has been progressing. They wanted us to pitch it at this time. They had a lot of good questions. We learned a lot, I think, from the fire district's perspective on how we can improve our capital facilities plans to make it more palatable for the county commissioners. I believe we take it to the county commission in August. And so we're going to sharpen our pencils a little bit. In the meantime, I may come back to the board with an updated capital facilities plan. As we kind of take the notes that we learned from the planning commission. In total, though, the planning commission did pass our capital facilities plan. It did pass or endorse, I guess, with a passing vote, the impact fees. So that could be a great revenue source for capital projects in the future, paying for future fire stations, paying for remodels, paying for future apparatus. So great opportunity there. I've spoken with each of you individually regarding the city's interest in looking at a regional fire authority. So meetings continue there. We did meet with one consulting group 2 weeks ago called Optimal Outcomes Consulting. It's a group that's one local person, both from LA County, have a lot of experience in growing fire organizations and that sort of thing. The county chiefs group that we're working with are interested in two more. So we're going to look at Burke Consultors, which is out of Seattle, and then ESCI, who actually did our last feasibility study on this very topic about 17 years ago. So that's kind of where that lies. Still just kind of needing to find a suitable fit, and I'll probably come to you guys with what kind of cost District 6 would be looking at to be one of likely 3 or 4 organizations to participate in that feasibility study. So more to come there. The other project that's kind of been looming in the background with the completion of this standards of cover is to get started again on a strategic planning process. We've reached the beginning of 2026 was the end of our last strategic plan. That was spearheaded by Chief Maurer. We accomplished those goals. It was the rebuilding of Station 63, the remodel of 62 and 61, the placement of the ladder truck and getting it in service. We achieved all those goals, which were great achievements. Now it's time. So instead of playing whack-a-mole with just whatever problem lies in front of us, we need a strategic plan to kind of guide our focus for the future. The standard of cover gives us some of that, but we're going to start that formal process of where we want to be in the next 5 years. So hopeful start for that will be in tentatively in September. where I'd like to get with you guys, get with the crews, get some community stakeholders, likely from like the business association. We have some other interested citizens that are informed and want to be a part of it, and do an environmental scan and some stakeholder input. And then that'll lead into mission and vision and values, just kind of looking at what we have currently and if it's still relevant and what we still want it to be. And then we'll establish some focus groups to kind of state our goals and then develop strategies and tactics to achieve those goals. All in all, we're hoping it'll be a 3 to 5 year strategic plan, and we'd like to be done by late winter or early spring of 2026. So that's kind of the next big project for staff. Also, we've talked about hiring. Right now, currently we have 4 vacancies with a likely 5th. Potentially we'll know next month if that other person is thinking about retiring. So far, we've gone open with our announcement for hiring July 1st. We'll leave it open until October 10th. So far, through public safety testing, we have 104 applications in, and through NTN, we have 166. So lots of people applying. Yeah, it seems like the numbers have rebounded since the kind of post-COVID years. And then another thing that you're going to see today, we'll bring up in policies, our policy review committee and what staff is doing. Now that we have the staff to accomplish some of these projects, and these are some of the problems that I know Chief Maurer brought, Chief Hebert brought, that we just didn't have the bandwidth, but we recognized we had a problem. So we have, some policies that should be standard operating guidelines. We have some SOGs that should be policies. Sometimes we have the same topic in both columns. We also have a number of different, we have people using memos for things that should be an email, and we have directives that things should be a memo. And so what we're doing is organizing that so then we can start to go through and revise and update. And now that we have a great staff with great experience in these types of projects, we're starting to make that headway. So today we're going to present to you guys Policy 200, which will be your first reading. And that's a policy on policies and SOGs. And it basically says, here's what is a policy, here's how we number it, here's what information is included in the template, and the same with the standard operating guideline. So then moving forward, we know exactly what column these things belong in. It's going to organize our process moving forward. And then policy 201 is a formal internal communications policy. So that's going to state like when a memo is called for versus when a directive is called for, or when an email will suffice, or when we should have a joint memo with the local. So it just defines all of those things. So as we move forward with our processes and modernize this side of the building, those things keep us in line. So that's a big project that we'll here be giving to you in a moment. And next, I'm going to pass it off to Tara to talk about second quarter budget.
Thank you. This is our budget position or our fund balances as of June 30th, according to the treasurer's balance and our internal accounting. In the general fund, we have about 53% remaining, and in our EMS fund, we have about 58% remaining, which is on target for June 30, halfway through the year.
This backup apparatus was repaired.
I can't.
Is that before or after we pay for the 2 new engines?
We have not paid for them, but we have transferred the money into the reserve so that we can pay for them when the bill comes due. So we have the 2.6 million in there right now.
After we've transferred or before?
We transferred it. So our ending balance. Yeah, so beginning balance of 107,000. We transferred the 2.5 million to cover our obligation under the 2 purchase contracts, and our ending balance is 2.6 million. And that's in reserve for those 2.
Thank you.
Overtime. On the left is our overtime hours year over year. I did just the 2 years because that's the 2 years we've been on the 4 platoon schedule. So that's comparable years. You can see we're trending slightly lower than we did in 2025. And then on the right is our overtime hours by type. So most of our overtime is in minimum staffing, and then our other programs listed below. Chief Russell asked me to point out that our CARES overtime is the 3rd highest, and that's 100% reimbursable. So You could.
And most of the cadet is.
Mostly cadets, yep.
It's a little different funding mechanism. It's not reimbursable. They pay per cadet a flat fee. And then we use that for our overtime.
So our reserve discussion. So at the beginning of the year, we talked about kind of budget rebuild, right? Reorganizing how we budget here. Tara's and Tina have done a great job in cost centering out our budget. And one of the discussions we had with you guys is that apparatus reserve, the capital reserve, and a new operational reserve. You know, if we go through a bad economy, or if we had all of a sudden a run on retirements and a whole bunch of vacation and that sort of thing, leave to cash out that might otherwise tax the budget. But to have those reserve accounts, we wanted to research best practices on how to fund those and then come before you guys with those mechanisms. So that's what Tara's going to talk to you about now.
I'm just gonna go through one by one this is presented for your consideration for how do we establish, maintain, and replenish these reserve accounts. So in addition to our policy discussion, once we have that framework of the policy on policies and the internal communications, that gives us then the opportunity where we can actually put these things into formal financial policies for our organization. So an apparatus reserve, these are funds that provide for the scheduled replacement of district vehicles at the end of their useful life. We have a schedule right now that Brad Osborne maintains, and he's got it scheduled out by apparatus type. How long is it on the front line? I believe it's 10 years, and then 5 or 7 years in reserve for a pool car. What's the useful life of a pool car? So each vehicle by type. Our recommended policy for our organization would be that we fund this account equal to the highest expected annual expenditure in a 10-year apparatus replacement forecast. So we would go out and look from 2027 to 2037 and say, what's our highest year? Okay, it's in 2035, we need to have 3.2 million based on this plan. So we need to adjust our annual contributions so that we have that 3.2 million when the time comes. I calculated it as of today. We know in 2027, we have the 2.5 million, plus we have a BC and potentially a fair unit. That's what makes up the 3.1 million. If we contribute 750,000 per year, we'll meet that 2035 objective. And then, so the red line would be our accumulated reserve. The black line is our annual contribution. And then the gray lines are where we actually have outlays, where those vehicles are. Any questions about this methodology?
Good.
Okay. Capital reserve, this is used for building, land, large capital purchases, any major purchases to update our buildings. The roof flies off. We have concrete needs more frequently than we have to do remodels, HVAC, et cetera. So those major capital purchases. Recommended policy would be that we fund this equal to 20% of our insured value for these replacement costs. Down below is a summary of what we're currently insuring by building and what the 20% of that number would be. I'm going to move this out of our way. Currently, by policy, we contribute $500,000 a year to this account. Our current account balance is 2.8 million. Using this framework, we would be short 836,000, and that would take us about at the 500,000, 1.67 years to replenish it. So for this fund, I don't think I touched on it. The apparatus reserve, and we're recommending that if it falls below, that we get it restored within 3 years. For capital replacement, we're recommending 5 if it falls below that minimum. So this recommendation keeps us within the recommended policy statement. And then the last reserve, the new reserve, which is why it's labeled with X, we don't assign the numbers, the county does. So, but for this reserve, this provides financial cushion in the event of economic downturn or to meet any emergency needs that the district may have. Our recommended policy statement is that we fund this at 20% of the highest operating budget within the last 5 years. With an annual contribution of $150,000, which all three of these will review each year and make sure that we're upping or adjusting those numbers. If this fund falls below the minimum, it will also be restored within 3 fiscal years. Because this is a new reserve, we need to have an initial funding source. We're recommending that we utilize the fund balance that is in excess of the 35% required to make an additional or an initial investment into that reserve. If we look at the 5-year budgeted expenditures, you can see in the general fund, 2026 was our highest, but in the EMS fund, actually 2025 was the highest. So the sum of those two numbers times 20% is 6.6 million. Our fund balance on those two accounts would be about 11, which, and we have 17. So we're at about 51%. So we have about a 5.4 million surplus over the 35% that's required. We're asking that we take 5 million of that and fund this operational account initially, and then work on a 3-year plan to get it up to the where it needs to be year over year. Questions, thoughts, concerns?
It's good. I like it.
Okay. I think that's the end of my show. Oh, I'm sorry. I stole your thunder.
Yeah.
I got clicker happy. Let's just skip it.
Oh,
why this express? Here, get this all the way up. I don't like that. Anyways, okay. So I'll go over a little bit of the administration and logistics. So we'll start with the financial work group. So we've been working to upgrade. Now this is not working again.
Increase the battery budget.
The battery. No, it's a dead battery. That's what it is. Okay.
Maybe 30.
It's just the same thing.
Move the chart away.
So upgrading new digital payroll system. We've been working on this for the last few months to make payroll processing faster, ensuring our accuracy and increasing our efficiency. So Tina and Tara have been working on this nonstop. We meet once a week to review where we're at, and we constantly update, make sure everything's working the way we want it to. Our transition is taking place this month, in the month of July. So as you know, in the past, the way payroll has worked, if this was a normal month, the members will be receiving their July regular payroll, their full salary, plus all of June's overtime. So we've always been a month behind on overtime, having to pay forward. So we've been working on that to see if we can't fix that. And so now, starting in July, this payday, which is going to be July 31st, we've got all of the regular July salary. We've got all the June overtime, and now half of July's overtime. So we're catching up incrementally to catch up full boat. So they're getting a month and a half of their overtimes and their leaves on this paycheck. And then next month, payday for August will be, instead of August 31st, like it's been in the past, we've moved it forward 8 days. So all the paydays now are going to be September, or going to be on the 8th. So that payday is going to be September 8th. That's going to be, just like in the past, the full August salary. And it's going to be the remainder of that July overtime. And now we've caught up. We're going to do all of August overtime. So that July paycheck is going to have all of August times in true times, the entire month. And we're catching up with the last part of July. So then moving forward, our paydays are going to be on the 8th of each month. And it's going to include the entire month. It'll include the entire month. So when we get to September, it'll be all of September's straight time and all of September's overtime and leaves. So we're caught up 100%, and everything moving forward from now on will be paid on the 8th, and it'll be a true month.
That's a lot of work.
It's been a lot of work for these ladies to get to this point and to automate everything. So everything is moved directly from CrewSense to Springbrook. They can explain it better to me because they do it every day, clicking all these clicks to get everything and then double checking the accuracy. And then unfortunately getting all the delayed overtime sheets that come in to try and process. So, but it's been a lot of work to get to this point. But moving forward, we will be fully automated and we'll be processing within 8 days of the last day of the month to get these paychecks out to everybody. And everything's real time, full month of everything, not a month behind. So it's been quite the process. So they deserve a lot of credit for all the work they've done.
That's what all the emails have been about.
Yeah.
A lot of memos, a lot of joint memos, a lot of.
Yeah, remember, I was trying to explain it to everybody so that they understand exactly what's happening. But that was basically it, trying to catch up, and then move forward, we're all caught up.
So shifting from the last day of the month till the 8th was, you know, the local was fine with that after.
Yes, they were. They were. We gave them three
Time right away,
options.
right?
And that was we had to have a give and take, so we had to have some time in there to process it all. Right, so in the past, it took, a couple of weeks to process it. Now we've cut that down to 8 days, but it had to be delayed into the next month to allow us up to the last day to process everything.
This makes their pension line up, from a business process standpoint, Tina does a lot of manual entry to do the previous month and in the LEF system or in the DRS system. Now it'll be just an upload for her. There's a lot that this touches that organization in our process.
I think the last report, we talked a little bit about the remodel going on out at the shop. So we're finally done with that. So we've got the roof replaced, we've got the gutters replaced, that office air conditioning is in place, all the lighting interior is done. We've painted interior and exterior. We tinted all the windows on the doors and on the shop office. And then we put the signs up above there, you've probably seen, for identification. So now when somebody goes back for delivery or pickup, we can tell them go to the fleet maintenance or facilities or logistics. There's all, the signage over the top. So it looks really good. The contractors did a good job, and John's been on top of it the whole way, working with these contractors. Our Pierce Saber, the 26 Saber, got pushed back 1 month. So our people should have already been back there, but now they're going to do their inspection July 27th to 29th. And when they're back, they'll, pick this thing apart, anything that's off, they'll get it fixed. And then it'll be rolling out here. We expect delivery in September. And then once we get it, they have to finish outfitting, obviously. And we expect service date somewhere around the end of October, beginning of November.
So this is the Florida unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was considerably cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes.
300 grand less,
And we got
1 year turnaround, and we got very close to our original spec. We'll be interested to see it, when it gets here and really compare it to the enforcers,
It was
but
about
it's
300
very close.
Taxes about $350,000 less, which pretty significant.
I think somebody wanted to add like 2 or 3 of them to the order.
Yeah.
We sell our other
That's
ones.
right,
So we've talked a little bit about hydrants in the past. So we had Dean give us a little bit of a report of kind of where we're at. So this is as of July 14th, and he's been working for one year. He just got his 1 year pin the other day. So this is what he's done so far. He's gotten 665 out of the approximately 1,800 hydrants done. They've been tested and cleaned in the last 12 months. So that's about a third of the entire, units of hydrants throughout the whole district. I think WSRP says every 5 years to test them is the kind of the target. It's suggested, it's not even a mandate, but we're at about a 3-year rotation, so that's pretty good. Out of the ones he's touched, about 4% needed additional work by public utilities. So here's a picture coming up here. This is an example of one that he came across. So that's our hydrant, if you can see. He knew there was one there someplace, so he called out PUD if they can kind of clear this area. So that's what they did. They came out, they cleared it. They actually poured a pad in there to keep it so it wouldn't grow up in front of it again, anything. And also access for our people to be able to get up there and connect the hydrant without tripping and falling in a hole or anything.
You'd be the bad guys. Right?
Yeah. Good for us, maybe not so good for the homeowner. He averaged on an 8-hour day, about 10 hydrants per day that he's able to complete. So he hasn't worked full days. He works full days during the summertime. Obviously, he was going to school previous, and in the bad weather months, it's probably not a great time to be out there doing all these. So he really knocks them out when he gets these 8-hour days going.
So is he painting them, some of them, as he goes?
Whatever is needed gets done.
Just curious how many he's painted. Can I suggest him on the painting? My school's out. I was at a school the other day and hydrants really look bad. And the public's there a lot at school events and stuff. And nobody's in school right now, and if he has time, it might be beneficial there.
Okay, good idea.
Ones at Clem River are terrible.
I talked to him the other day. I told him it'd be wise if you have a little presence around your place.
Mine got painted 2 years ago.
So you gotta be driving around Brad.
They're on a 6-month.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's right. Which school did you say?
All of them, and the Little League field too, by the way.
So this is what he does. So the background map with all the little smaller dots you see, that's the PUD map with all the hydrants in the district. And then what he does is he goes over the top of that map and he drops his dots on top of there. And so you can kind of track him. He started obviously the very south end of the district, working his way north. The green ones are the ones that have been completed. The blue ones are completed, but missing the reflectors. So he'll go back and do just like a reflector day and goes push all the reflectors in. The orange ones still need to be completed. So for some reason he couldn't get to it, there's access problems or something. He just can't, he'll come back, he'll mark them as orange so he doesn't miss them in the area and come back again. And the red ones are ones that need additional work through PUD. So he just tracks those and sends the notices out to them. When they get completed, he goes back in and changes them to green when they're done. So this is his little tracking system he has on his app on his computer, and he takes it with him. And when he's done, he fills his report out, sends it into them, and it's all electronic and doing a really good job of managing it all. So fuel report. So we talked last about what our fuel costs were between here and Jubitz, and then having a fueling station at 63 possibly. So we did some numbers for you here. So here's a diesel fuel cost comparison, or diesel and unleaded fuel comparison, but diesel's our biggest ticket item, obviously. So between Jubitz and Christensen, who's our company we order from and who services our system here, basically unleaded's very similar. You can see the diesel cost is substantially less through Christensen. One of the issues is when we buy, we're on a card system now with Christensen. They manage all of our fuel purchasing. So every rig, every apparatus has a fuel card. It's through Christensen now. So when you go to Jubitz, we're paying retail price at Jubitz, unfortunately for that. There are other agencies, other companies that they have a deal with, a contract with, where we get a more of a wholesale cost on it, but we just don't have any of those really close to 63s. Jubitz is obviously the easiest one to get to for crews in and out of there.
As Christensen, I'm just curious, there used to be a state bid for fuel price. Is that still happening now, where?
I don't know, we're getting a wholesale price on it, so it might be on the state bid. I'm not sure if Brad worked on that.
It is. And it's
The state bid?
Okay.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
So a couple of good things about the Christensen fuel that we're getting, and they kind of expressed this to Brad when he started working with them. First of all, our unleaded fuel is not ethanol infused fuel. It's just regular premium petrol with no additives to it. So it's a better quality. So we pay a little bit more for that. But if you were to buy the same fuel out there on the market, it's about $1 more per gallon. So we're actually getting really good price.
Say $7 a gallon for clear gas.
Yeah, you probably.
Maybe you could fill up at, never mind.
And then the other thing is the diesel too. This isn't a biodiesel. This is a very clean diesel, no additives in it. There's no French fry oil or whatever, the additives that go into all the other diesels that are out there. And we were actually discussed at the very beginning that said we would have less regen problems if we went to this type of diesel. And so we've tried it. We've been on it for quite a few months. And Brad has noted that our regen problems here at 61s have disappeared. Typically, we'd have one a week where we'd have to send it back in because it won't regen properly and the filters get clogged and you just can't burn it out because we don't get hot enough, you don't run long enough. So we have not had that issue. 63, we try and get them to come up here and fuel up as often as possible. And so when they're in the area, they'll come and fuel up. So they've been reduced quite a bit as far as those issues as well. We still have a few with those rigs. 63 is new rigs, so it doesn't have really, many problems yet. But We've pretty much eliminated all those problems we've had in the past. Like you said, there's one a week. Typically, we'd have a rig go down with a regen issue. And that's kind of gone away with this quality fuel we've got. So
Christensen do our fuel at Station 2 also.
so then we also talked about, the fueling station. So we set up a facility, an area there to possibly have a fueling station at 63. So we kind of got an idea of what the cost would be. So a cost to put in a fuel station at 63 is roughly $200,000 to $300,000 plus tax. Now there's also a canopy requirement to go over the top of it to protect it from the elements, I guess. So at Jubitz, to date, I just expounded this out for a year. So if we continue it out, we're at about 4,250 gallons for the half year. So if you took it the full year, we do about 8,500 gallons a year of diesel purchase down there at Jubitz. Unleaded, we do about 1,700 gallons per year. So if we look to say, if it was $1 difference between Jubitz and Christensen, and we're buying right now 8,500 gallons down there, our break-even cost is 30 years at 250,000, 35 years at 300,000 to make up the difference in what we're paying over our carrying, our costs right now. So, and then plus that system would probably have to be redone halfway through that time frame. So it's not cost productive to spend that money at this time. Again, it's a choice we can make down the road if we want to look at this, and we really want to be independent of another station. But the cost right now doesn't warrant spending that money, to save $8,500 a year.
When we have a fuel problem and we have to take the rig out of service, there's a cost associated with that also, obviously.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, the fortunate thing is we've reduced it tremendously by having the rigs come up here, because we would normally spend more in gas, or use more of the diesel than that. But I think the rigs have recycled through here enough times that they're using this fuel quite a bit. And so I think when we kind of stress that they'll have less breakdowns, they're not going to lose their truck because of a regen issue, they'll be cycling through here more and more. So I think it's a good thing. It's a good it's a great backup to have that right there in the district for them. When they need to get fuel and they can't get out of the district. So I think we get kind of the best of both worlds right now. We're not having to spend, $250,000 to put a fuel station there. We're still kind of, getting by with where we're at. But the other two stations are working really well, and we're getting great fuel, and I think we're getting really good service out of it too. So
It's the 250 to 300 for diesel and.
Yeah, well, it's for a 5,000 gallon tank, whatever you split tank, half and half, whatever.
So can you buy a smaller tank just for diesel and save a considerable amount of money, or?
I don't think you'd save that much, yeah. Because all the infrastructure, the work's gotta go in there, and it's just, the cost of the tank is probably the least amount of cost involved in it. But this is based on one that was just recently completed. So.
That was my question, and I didn't mean to give you a homework project, but.
No, that's fine.
I appreciate the info. Would have been less, I think it'd be easier to consider.
Yeah, exactly. And if the cost difference was greater too. And then last thing here, we've got, this is our gov deals. We mentioned last time, we talked about where we were at. So as of April, we were at $36,000 total recouped through our surplus on gov deals. And then now as of July, we're up to $43,284 with another $2,500 pending. We bring people to pick it up. So we'll be at, a little over 45, 45.7, 45.8. So quite a bit of recovery on some of the items. And I think that's it for me.
All
Were
right.
there any questions at all? All right.
Thank you.
All right, for your operational update, just taking a look at Q2 as compared to Q1 of this year, we're trending up as summer months come into effect. looking at July 4th, while I was just outside this past quarter, it's of interest because we just went through it right now. We were slightly in the numbers, slightly down in our call volume for July 4th as compared to previous years. I don't have anything anecdotally to tell you about that, but I did experience this year's July 4th. I rode as a fifth on Truck 63 for the night. Had a great time. Went to a couple fires, and it was a lot of fun to be out with the crews and run some calls with them. So all in all, call volume didn't start till about 10, which everybody said was a little slow, but we were up till 5. So it was good. It was a good night. Referring to some of the budget initiatives for the operations division, engineer development program is in module 3 and on track for a October promotional exam. Just wrapped up delivering a little bit of training for our current battalion chiefs on managing expanding complex incidents. In the process of working on a battalion chief development program that I'm looking at rolling out in late September, early October. That'll be for our current captains who may, in the next couple of years, think about testing for a battalion chief. We're also looking at the SCBA program and our needs over the next couple of years, and that will help us drive where we determine budgetary needs will be for SCBA. LifePak 35s, I'm not sure if you are aware, but they've been out of service for the last couple of months due to some reliability issues. The most prominent one was experienced by Vancouver. The LifePak 35 failed to cardiovert during a cardiac arrest. And it's kind of a piece of a national trend right now with the 35s. Stryker, they just rolled this product out. They're working out through some bugs. I met with Stryker, myself and Captain Mitchell and I met with Stryker last week, met again today. We're working through how to, they've serviced everything. They're going to come back, train everybody again on the best practices now that Stryker has learned a lot over the last couple of months. And we're looking to roll those out in August and get them back in service so we can start testing them again and make sure that we know they're reliable and our crews become comfortable with them. We have since held off on purchasing the last 2 35s that you all have authorized, and we will do so. We'll wait until we are confident in change. One other thing that I'm excited about is I got to the district, and one of the things I was asking right away, because people were telling me about recent fires, and I said, how are we capturing all the lessons we've learned at those fires and making sure that all of our members are benefiting from the lessons learned? And while I was shown a fantastic after-action report on one fire, it was not a replicable process that we had to quickly get out the information to our members. And so did a quick search and found a company that I thought was really promising, very reasonable. It's a app that the members have either on their district phone or they can come back to the station and do on the computer. They speak into the app. It takes everybody's everybody's input, company officers, firefighters, incident commander. It aggregates all of it into one consistent report that can be done within an hour. It does, Commissioner, use AI merely just to aggregate everything and do the grammar, but it doesn't write it for you, and so to speak, to develop what you want to say.
Too late for done.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're excited about that. We're in the final stages of the contracting phase, and we've got some draft language to how we'll use it in the future. So finally, notable incidents for Q2. Late April, we had 2 kind of exciting incidents in the same day. One, we had a brush unit with 4 members working in a joint training with Portland Fire, not in Tualatin Valley's area. That is a key point I'd like to stress. And then on the same day, we also had a tech rescue call of an injured member in a confined space that the county tech rescue team responded to. As everybody knows, May 26th, Longview had their hazmat implosion. I was at a county ops meeting. We started getting word of that. And so we quickly, Vancouver and myself, we started making sure everybody was getting spun up, ready for that response. And we quickly had to initiate our response for that. We ended up, Legacy Salmon Creek received one patient. We responded with Vancouver and assisted with deconning of the patient, deconning of the staff at the hospital in the room afterward. A couple days later, we had a fire at a assisted living facility, and Injured 61 rescued a victim out of first floor window. End of May, we had another tech rescue call out, assisting East County Fire with a lot of knots. Yeah, a lot of knots. With the high angle extraction of the victim from a slope. And then we had a second victim rescue at an apartment fire, second floor victim rescue on June 22nd. So a busy quarter for us, an exciting quarter. Crews have been both operating really in a really professional, strong manner, and really excited about the outcomes they've been having.
Questions?
Thank you. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Good stuff.
So finally comes the Center of Cover. This is our first reading.
Yes,
So at the next meeting, we potentially would adopt that.
yes. If you want to, if, like I said, it's a lot to go through. If you want to take a couple of meetings to get to the second or approval, it's fine too. I think that takes us to old business, Commissioner Pfeiffer.
Okay, all right, we have a surplus engine under old business.
Yeah, so I was just looking for a little bit of direction from the board. Last, we opted to surplus our engine. It's ready, I can't remember the apparatus number, but it's ready for surplus. I've reached out to county organizations, all the county chiefs. Nobody's responded back yet with interest. So I just wanted to know if you guys would like us to, we have received letters from two organizations, one in Oregon, one here in Washington, that would be interested, small volunteer organizations, or we can opt to surplus it via gov deals, which would just be an auction. We could put a reserve on it if we wanted to. The last option would be to use a broker. It has a lot of life left at only 60,000 miles. Brad Osborne believes that, we could probably get $30,000 to $40,000 through a brokerage if we wanted to try that avenue. But again, I just wanted to get some direction on how it comes.
This is really strange. It popped up. It's a company on Facebook called Garage.
Yes, that's the broker that he's actually.
And looking at some of their comparatively, if the engine was worth 10 or 15,000 and the Sal needed an engine, that's one thing. If it's worth $50,000 or $60,000, it's pretty significant. And our taxpayers, at some point, you have to kind of wonder that.
The garage broker charges, I think, a 10% fee. They come out, take pictures, list it, advertise it on all of their platforms, get the word out there.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, I'd say let's give that a whirl. Yeah.
At least give it a shot.
Okay. That's all the direction I need. Absolutely. Happy to do it.
It'd be nice helping the Sal out, but. I don't have any money. Nor did Glenwood.
Moving on to new business, policy 200.
Yeah, so as discussed in the last report, this is a policy on policy, basically, right? It is comical to say out loud, but it is also extremely necessary as we see our kind of archives of policies and SOGs and all this stuff in it. But this will kind of set the framework for how we're going to revise policy in the future and update it, make sure policy belongs in policy and operational guidelines are over where they belong. So going through policy 200, policy 201 are kind of one and the same, right? The other one is basically on memos and communication, how we communicate. Those are basically the framework for our policy review committee to march forward. So this would be your first reading.
Questions really? We have policy 201 as well.
Yeah, policy 201 is as we just described. Policy 209 is the purchasing card policy, and we just have one update to that. And I again, like we did last time, I don't know if you guys necessarily need two readings. We're just adding personnel to that policy. We have to have board approval to issue a credit card. This is for Tony Losbeck for TRT to be able to buy, you know, boot laces when they're out and about and that sort of thing. It's also to boost the credit limit for Kathleen, who books all of our travel for training. And so sometimes she will be up against a credit card max when she's trying to book multiple, you know, if people are flying somewhere or staying in a hotel or something like that. So that gives us a little bit of breathing room on that. So up to you guys whether you'd like to approve that now or use that for a first reading.
I'll make a motion to approve policy 209.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made, seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Then lastly, we just have another surplus list. Getting on those gov deals. We've got some doorbell parts. Come quick. Come quick if you want to get your hands on that.
I'll make a motion to authorize the chief to surplus those items as he sees appropriate.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up, we have some schedule changes.
Now, Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to move the August 18th meeting to August 17th.
So second,
Motion's been made and seconded to move August 18th regular board meeting to the 17th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And how about, you want me to make a motion?
yes, sir.
October 20th meeting to October 19th.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded to move the regular board meeting on October 20th to the 19th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, it is the executive session this meeting. Roundtable, good of the order.
I have one go to the order, and I'll confirm the date for the next meeting, but we have kind of regrouped our awards committee. With all the, you know, leadership change and everything else that's gone on in the last, you know, several months, our 2025 awards kind of fell off the radar. And then we didn't have a lot of crew involvement either getting us nominations. So we've kind of prodded that. We've got that done. We would like to have a little awards ceremony tied to one of our August meetings. I was kind of looking at the second August meeting, which would be that August 17th. Have a little awards ceremony in the Bay before our meeting, and then we can come in and do our usual business. Just an opportunity to celebrate the high performers of 2025, and then we'll get things on track and hopefully be doing that in the first quarter of the year moving forward. But we've got a new committee formed. You guys approved that policy, new players on that committee, and everybody's kind of excited to get that going. Just be a makeup here.
my only comment is I would encourage you to keep an eye on the assessed value of the district. All three of our homes went down. Both my neighbor's home went down. Obviously, if it goes down in assessed value, even though we have up to 6, we don't get to collect anything. It's got to go up to collect. So I'm hoping other areas of the district went up to at least balance it. But it's a little worrisome to me at this point. I think we just need to kind of pay attention to that and see what happens. I don't know if Tina's went up or not, or if Tina's not. Yours went up? Good. Thank you. You balance out. We appreciate it. But it's just something to keep an eye with the county, and if that number's sooner than later, we might have to. A new construction should be okay. Anyway, just a heads up.
Yeah, thank you.
And we did have a crew respond to my neighborhood again. We have a lot of older folks. And I didn't talk to her, but her husband was quite pleased. And I don't remember, I think it was A shift station 2, but I can't remember. But every time they respond to the neighborhood, I get a positive feedback. And he was quite pleased. She had a small stroke and was back home, and he was just the professionalism, the response time, their caring. talking to her and trying to make her feel better. He was just really impressed. Thank you, shifts, whatever shift that was, you probably know.
Great feedback.
110.
I just want to thank staff for all the hard work. I appreciate these quarterly reports. I think it's a great way to share the information and the happenings that you guys are all doing. I know you're all working very hard and it's very evident. I just really appreciate this. It's a great way to capture the information that's taking place. And I want to thank you all for the hard work on payroll transfer. That's a big complex process. A lot going into that. So thank you all. All right. Well, with that, we need to authorize July issuance of payroll warrants, Clark County Treasurer, authorize July payroll direct deposit treasurer's check, authorize July deposit federal and FICA medical withholding treasurer's check, and authorize pre-authorization invoice transmittal, authorize payment approvals.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is carried.